All right, folks, it's a critical market update to start off April. It's April 2nd, 2026, and we're going to be talking about what just happened, this flush out that we've seen in the market since President Trump gave the national address last night. Then we'll be touching on the hack that took place, the exploit. It's really an exploit, not a hack, that took place over on Solana. Before we move into the secret sauce for XRP and Ripple, their strength is on full display, so we'll be talking about that. But this is why you guys tune in here. If you haven't already, if you're new here, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our updates. We were keeping you ready for this pullback that we've seen in the markets. And right on time, President Trump gives us the national address last night. Oil spikes, markets back down. Let's get right on into it. Thank you for supporting the show. Now, taking a look here, starting off with oil. This is the WTI back above $111 per barrel. And if we measure this, oil was up 108% year to date on that move up to 119. But as we sit here today, we're still up about 95% year to date for oil. It's truly been a historical move to start off the new year with this ongoing conflict. Now, we flipped Brent, which is interesting. Brent is the worldwide measure for oil. It went up to 109, but it's currently under the WTI, sitting here at 107. We'll continue to watch that. USD versus JPY, that moves back up today. US dollar appreciating against the Japanese yen. On the 10-year, we see that Japanese 10-year spiking back up again here to 2.39, almost 2.4%. The Bank of Japan going to start to get a little interesting here. We're watching them, waiting to see when they want to intervene. And we'll watch the 10-year on the US. Did move back up earlier today, cooling off now at 4.3%, but we'll be watching it. Let's get into cryptocurrency on the 1 hour chart here. You can see right here at 6 o'clock West Coast, 9 p.m. Eastern. This is when President Trump started the speech, and we immediately nuke, and we moved down all throughout the night, all the way down here to $1.28 for XRP. Now, I've said it before. I'll say it again because I try to keep it real with you guys. And I try to be as transparent as possible. I can't tell you how, the exact dollars in my bank account and how much XRP I have, but I've been very open and honest that I wasn't buying these bull trap rallies that we got for the past 4 weeks that this conflict has been going on, and I'm still expecting lower prices like $1.20 on XRP, like the 60,000 range for Bitcoin. And so here I am, just trying to tell you guys what I'm doing so you understand the context, my bias, and where I'm coming from, which is I wasn't buying it. The climax of this war, what we're going to have to do to open up the Strait of Hormuz and to complete this military operation brings the markets back down. And that's exactly what President Trump confirmed last night. Now we start to move back down. And so in an effort of transparency, I will confirm once again that I am adding to my XRP long right above $1.20. I'm adding XRP spot positions for the first time in a long time. I'm adding XRP spot bags at $1.20. And then I'm also front running $1. So for those of you guys that are looking to buy XRP under $1 or right at $1, good luck and God bless to you. I hope that those orders fill for you. I'm just telling you that I, myself, and maybe some others in my community are going to be front running you at $1. We're going to be front running you above $1. And if we do go below those levels, I'll be buying down there with you as well. I also have buy orders on HBAR, on ZBCN, and I'm looking at other positions as well right now. This is the moment that I've been trying to prepare you guys for over the past month, that we had this sideways chop. We'd get these breakout rallies for XRP up to $1.60, XRP up to $1.50, and I was not buying it the entire time. We keep it level-headed here. We give you real analysis. And this is when it pays off. Our patience pays off. Not falling for those bull trap rallies and FOMOing in, buying XRP at $1.40, $1.50, $1.60, but waiting for the market to come to us. We knew, and just President Trump confirmed it last night. He says we're going to hit him harder than we have so far to complete the military operation. So that's where XRP went. Bitcoin back down below 67,000. In fact, it went all the way down to 65,700 earlier this morning. So we'll be watching that closely. A lot of these assets getting to great levels to acquire, and we'll just continue to accumulate. Now, here's what took place, guys. Drift Protocol just released their thread on the $280 million hack. And this was not a code exploit. It wasn't a flash loan. It wasn't even a traditional key theft. Solana has a feature called durable nonces that lets you sign a transaction today but execute it days or weeks later. So you create pre-signed transactions that stay valid indefinitely. There's no time-based expiration. And then the attackers tricked signers into approving malicious pre-signed transactions. So basically blind signing. So there's a couple parts of this. There was the blind signing. That was an issue. But the other thing is a feature, not a bug, a feature that's built into Solana, which in this case allowed for the exploit, and it's the durable nonces. Now, I asked Grok if this is possible on the XRP ledger, and it is not. XRP ledger works differently. It uses account sequence numbers or optional tickets as the primary anti-relay mechanism. There is no built-in equivalent to durable nonces on the XRP ledger, so it's not possible. Now, the social engineering that led to the blind signing, that is, of course, possible on any multi-sig wallet on any blockchain, essentially. So that part, that can be done with anybody on any blockchain, the social engineering part of it. The durable nonces, though, that is only on Solana. That's where the issue came from. And for those guys who've never heard of Drift Protocol is Solana's leading open source, fully on-chain, decentralized exchange, specializing in perpetual futures, with spot trading, lending, borrowing, and yield-generating features built in. This is where we had an issue. At this platform, going good, leading platform, leading perpetual DEX, perpetual futures DEX on Solana. It's all going good, but this was a well-thought-out exploit and attack, and the hackers have been able to run away with over $200 million, almost $300 million. And it looks like some digital asset treasury companies had some plays over there on the Drift Protocol, so we're still going to see and tally up all of the damages, but already at a few hundred million. And obviously this protocol has lost all trust, essentially, so Solana's going to have to rebuild from there. But just so people are aware, this type of attack specifically is not available or possible on the XRP ledger. So that's great. Now, guys, we've seen it. This is just the most recent exploit. There's all sorts of hacks out there. And so for those of you guys that are looking for a safe space to secure your digital assets, and I'm talking about your long-term holdings that you don't plan on moving around, I create separate wallets for trading, DeFi for the XRP Ledger AMM, for XRP meme coins. I've created 6 different wallets for trading XRP memes. I segregate out my wallets depending on what I'm doing. And for your long-term holdings, you got to keep them secure. I've started using institutional grade custody. I would consider it for yourself as well, especially if you don't trust yourself to do the cold storage. And our sponsor, iTrust Capital, has the premium custody account just exactly for this. It's the closed loop system. Your crypto transactions stay secure, no external wallets, no unnecessary risks, just a trusted way to buy, sell, and custody with confidence. And of course, it's that free institutional grade custody that we love. When you use my link down below for iTrust Capital, you will get a $100 funding bonus. So keep it secure, keep it in free institutional grade custody. That's how I'm doing it. But stay safe out there, guys. So many hackers. Now, not an April Fool's joke, but we got Brad chiming in here. I like it. I like to see it. Brad getting a little spicy. You have the founder and CEO of Avalanche saying that banks are choosing Ripple. April Fools, obviously, they're actually using Avalanche. Oh, good one. Ha, ha, ha. Good one. Emin. I'm not even going to say it. I have some things I could say. I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to let Brad throw a jab. Glad to know we're living rent-free in your head. I love it. I love Brad getting a little spicy with it. I got some things I could say too, but I'll just let him be. I'll let Brad do the talking. It's better that way. I'll let Brad do it. Let's get into Ripple's strength. Let these guys play around. Clear validation of Ripple Prime strength, reliability, and tech with today's investment-grade issuer rating from Kroll. Momentum builds when markets recognize these things. We're talking about global credit rating agency Kroll has assigned Ripple Prime as an investment-grade issuer rating of BBB, reflecting the financial strength, business expansion, and disciplined execution of our growing prime brokerage platform. Absolutely love to see it. Let's get to the secret sauce. Now, Brad Garlinghouse is retweeting the SVP of Ripple Treasury right here. And this is on the update that they provided yesterday, the first of its kind treasury management system that integrates digital rails into the treasury management system. So up until last year, Ripple Treasury, formerly G Treasury, already was connected with over 13,000 banks. Already was moving $12 trillion on a yearly basis. That was before Ripple acquired them, without any digital rails. And now Ripple has acquired them, and now they've integrated the first of its kind digital rails, native digital rails, into the treasury management system. And so Brad Garlinghouse is explaining how this is the secret sauce. We've heard David and others refer to this as the secret sauce for Ripple for years, going back to 2017 and 18. What is it? You bring them on board without making them use crypto. You bring on banks, institutions, payment providers, corporates. In the case of G Treasury, you bring on these corporate treasurers, CFOs. You bring on these companies, and you don't make them touch crypto at all. But then once you get them in the door, then you show them the secret sauce. Once you get them sitting at your table, then you show them the secret sauce. And it was funny. I went and looked at David Schwartz's Twitter profile, and into the search bar, I put secret sauce, and there's all sorts of posts from David with margaritas and different sauces and different liquors. And I had a good read this morning going through David's page, looking through the search results for secret sauce. But let's let Brad explain it. The secret sauce is simple. Give corporates a trusted, regulated entry point embedded in workflows they already use. 2, remove the friction between managing different accounts, fiat or digital. Both of those are now solved today with Ripple Treasury. Ripple Treasury is on a tear. Last year, facilitating $13 trillion in payments for customers. This year, with the addition of native digital asset capabilities. Let's freaking go. So, 13,000 connected banks to G Treasury. Corporates, and I put out a little TikTok yesterday, and I read off the quote from American Airlines. We're talking about corporates like that are now, they were using G Treasury. They're still using G Treasury. It's just now Ripple Treasury. They were able to keep all those clients. 13,000 banks, $13 trillion in payments, all without the digital rails. Now we expand. And you've seen the volume just in stablecoins, how much that's grown. And now you're going to have the full capability for you to have your reserves, your treasury reserves. But then also when you want to use stablecoins, when you want to use digital assets and digital rails, it's already built into the same workflow that you're already comfortable with. You don't have to learn a new language. You don't even have to understand cryptocurrency at all. It just seamlessly is there and ready to be used, right? You're already at the dinner table. You're already enjoying the meal. And then the chef comes out of the kitchen and says, we got a little secret sauce for you. That's what XRP is. This is a simple deal. Ripple's bringing all of these institutions, the banks, the old guard, they're giving them the opportunity to come in. 15 executives from JP Morgan showing up at the offices of Ripple. That was years ago. Ripple has given them an opportunity. And a lot of these guys, they tried to take what Ripple was building and learn from Ripple and then try to go build it out on their own, JPM Coin and others that aren't really working so well, don't really got traction, and nobody trusts JP Morgan and these other institutions. And that's where they come back and they say, okay, now we see the use case for a native, permissionless, decentralized currency. And that is what Vet is commenting on here as he retweets out the IMF. The IMF this morning put out a paper, some notes on tokenized finance. And Vet comes in here with a nice comment. He says, I think the IMF is mistaken big time and made the calculation without native on-chain compliance like we have XRP's permission DEX domain. Also, why a neutral asset like XRP or Ethereum, or Bitcoin, are the answer to their open-end settlement asset gap. 1. The IMF is in favor of institutional governed permission blockchains and against permissionless blockchains. IMF is mistaken here. For them, the need of KYC AML on-chain is the reason for this preference, but that's already been solved on the XRP ledger. We have XLS 80 and 81, permission domain, and permission DEX, allowing for full compliant trading, lending, and more on-chain, not to mention DID and credentials that enable even more use cases as standalone features. 2. I agree with the IMF that liquidity fragmentation is real. Here, the IMF calls for CBDCs, synthetic CBDCs issued by private issuers, but instead of with private money. But they want it to be issued against central bank reserves, fearing money market-like runs, etc. Okay, but the IMF fails to classify the settlement asset problem. In their model, central banks would provide liquidity for each stablecoin pair. Now ask yourself, do you believe with all the downhill trust that all central banks will come to bilateral liquidity agreements again? It's a squared problem. 20 central banks would need 190 liquidity pools. You know what's easier? To collapse it all to a neutral bridge asset that aggregates demand with zero agreements needed. That's XRP. That's the secret sauce as applied to what the IMF is looking to do with central bank digital currencies and stablecoins. Instead of having fragmented liquidity across dozens and hundreds of liquidity pools across dozens of different blockchains, right? XRP Ledger becomes the hub for liquidity for national stablecoins, for central bank digital currencies, for tokenized deposits. Put JPM coin on the XRP Ledger. Put Bitcoin on the XRP Ledger. Put your tokenized real-world assets on the XRP Ledger and let XRP facilitate all of that liquidity seamlessly, effortlessly, and in the most efficient manner. That's what XRP does. That's the role, and that's where the secret sauce comes in. Is Ripple can handle the fiat rails, but once they get you in the door as a client, then they can show you the secret sauce and say, hey, you like the improvements that we've done to the traditional fiat rails? Just wait till you see the digital rails. Just look until you see what's possible here. No, we don't need it to be a separate permissioned centralized exchange. We've created a permissioned environment on our permissionless chain. It's the permission domains, permission DEX, which allows you to build liquidity pools where KYC and AML is built into the protocol natively. All of this is the advantage of the XRP Ledger. While we see these other blockchains that get hacked and exploited through their smart contracts that need to create layer 2s to create these permission environments. Instead, on the XRP Ledger, it's already built in. It's secure, it's fast, and completely efficient. That's the secret sauce of XRP, and I want to drive this point home before we check out of this video, that when people don't see XRP in a headline, they think it has nothing to do with XRP. It drives no value back to XRP. If Ripple puts out a tweet that doesn't have XRP in it, and they don't explicitly say that this is going to drive value to XRP, people don't make that correlation. Don't make that same mistake that so many other crypto investors are making right now. Understand that everything that Ripple is doing, all of the pillars of the infrastructure that they've built out, is to ultimately drive value back to XRP, as XRP is their North Star. XRP is the heartbeat of Ripple. Never forget it. And don't let the liars and the fuzzers and the trolls tell you otherwise. Completely false. And so with that, we see the unique advantage that XRP has. This is why it's my biggest holding, why I'm going to keep adding to it during this dip, this pullback that we were expecting. And if you appreciate our updates, please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide. And all of our community resources can be found at my website, zachrector.com. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.